We are live. Welcome back to another episode, another edition of the Earle Sports Bet Show. This is for UFC Vegas 36, Derek Brunson versus Darren Till, the main event for this one. And we got a smaller card. We lost the first fight of the night just recently, so we are down to 9 fights on this card. So this should be a shorter stream for this one. So we have UFC for tomorrow, September the 4th. And basically last week was awful. I didn't see many people around YouTube or Twitter or anything like that who had good nights last Saturday. So looking to turn that around with this card. Small card. I got very limited action. I like a few underdogs that I bet. And other than that, I didn't really attack too much on this slate. So let's get right into it here. We'll kick it off. The first fight of the night is now going to be Marc-Andre Barrio versus Dalcha Luganbula for this matchup here. You can get Barrio at around a -170. Dalcha is a +145 run back. Total 2.5 in this fight, -115 on each side for that one. And looking at these two fighters, Dalcha is 11-2. He's 2-1 in the UFC. He has a 54.5% finish rate, 3 knockouts, 3 submissions, and 5 decision wins. Both of his losses are inside the distance. He's been knocked out once, and he's been submitted once. And 2 out of his 3 UFC fights have finished, with 2 of them ending by knockout, 1 by decision. And the over 2.5 is 1-2 in his UFC career. On the other side, Marc-Andre Barrio is 12-4. He's 1-3 in the UFC. He really had an extra win there, but it was a no contest. He has a 75% finish rate. He does have 9 knockouts with 3 decision wins as well. All 4 of his losses are by decision. Only 2 of his 5 fights in the UFC have finished as well. And the over 2.5 is 4-1 in the UFC for Marc-Andre Barrio in this one. And I'm going to start off the night here with a nice little pass. I'm leaning towards Barrio in this fight. I'm not betting this one, though. This line's a little bit too wide for me. I would look at maybe going with Marc-Andre Barrio by knockout could be an interesting prop, or inside the distance as a -150 for Barrio. I can be talked into that one. I think he potentially knocks out Dalcha Luganbula. In this one, you can get Marc-Andre Barrio +200 by knockout. If you think potentially submission, he's never gotten a submission win, though. That's why it's 9-1. But for this first fight, it's going to just be a simple pass for me here. Maybe a round 3 sprinkle could be in play as well for Marc-Andre Barrio. But the books are very wise to that. +625. We're not seeing any of these big lines here for potential finishes in the third round like we have in the past, where we've seen 12, 14, 16s, 20-1s for third round 3 props. We didn't see many of those this week. So for this first fight here, lean toward Barrio. Barrio by knockout is probably going to be my pick for this, or my prediction for this fight, but no bet for the first one of the night here. Next fight we're going to look at is Julian Rosa, Juicy J, taking on Charles Air Jordan. -180 for Jordan, +155 for Rosa. Over under of 2.5 in this fight. The over being a +160, the under being a -200. So very juiced towards the under in this one, and for good reason. Looking at these two fighters, Charles Jourdain is 11-3-1 in his UFC career, 2-2-1 in the UFC. All of his wins are by finish, 8 by knockout, 3 by submission. He does not have a decision win. But yet, all 3 of his fights that he's lost have gone to decision. He does have 1 draw on his record as well. 2 out of his UFC fights have finished, with 2 ending by knockout and 3 ending by decision. And the over 2.5 is surprisingly 4-1 in Charles Jourdain's career in the UFC. Julian Rosa is 25-9-0. He is 2-4-0 in the UFC. He has an 88% finish rate and 25 career wins, and very equal opportunity finish here. 11 by knockout, 11 by submission, and 3 by decision. 55% of his losses are inside the distance. He's been knocked out 5 times, and he's lost by decision 4 times in his career. 5 of his 6 UFC fights have finished. 4 of them have finished by knockout, one by submission, one by decision, and the over 2.5 is actually 2-4 in his UFC career. And looking at this fight here, I do like the side of Julian Rosa. I see a potential upset spot in this one. And that's why with the 88% finish rate, he only has 3 wins by decision. And looking at this spot, this is an inside the distance spot for me here. I took Julian Rosa, 1 unit. Julian Rosa inside the distance at plus 315. Getting nice plus money on that one is where I'm going for this fight. Moving on to the next one here, we have Ludwig Shalinian taking on Jack Shore. Jack Shore, the biggest favorite of the night at minus 650, a plus 425 run back here on Shalinian. A total of 2.5 in this fight, the over being a minus 119. The under is a minus 111 in this one. And looking at these two fighters, this is Shalinian's UFC debut. He's 9-1-1. He has a 44.4% finish rate. He does have 1 knockout, 3 submissions, and 5 decision wins on his record. His only loss is by decision. This is his UFC debut, so he has no UFC fights currently. On the other side, Jack Shore is 14-0 in his career, 3-0 in the UFC. He does have an 85.7% finish rate. No losses, of course, with that undefeated record. 2 out of his 3 UFC fights have finished. 2 ending in submission, 1 ending in a decision win, and over 2.5 is 2-1 in his career. He had a late 3rd round finish in one of his fights. I was looking at potentially a Jack Shore round 3 prop. Once again, there was another one, and I looked at it, and it was plus 800. I don't hate that. That might be worth a sprinkle for this one, plus 800. I like Jack Shore to get the job done here. He's plus 150 to win by submission. I don't think that's enough for me there. Inside the distance is minus 125. So I'd rather take the submission prop than trying to lay the minus 125 for Jack Shore to finish this fight. I'm gonna take this plus 800. I'm gonna lay a quarter unit on it to win. Quarter unit to win 2 units here. Jack Shore, round 3 is going to be my only play in this one. Let me add this to my card. We're going Shore, round 3 at plus 800. And that'll be a quarter unit stab on that one. With a lean towards him inside the distance at minus 125. I think Jack Shore gets the job done here. And he's the biggest favorite on the card for a reason. He's going to dominate that fight. On to the next one here. We have Ji Yeon Kim taking on Molly McCann in this one. Molly McCann around minus 118, minus 120 favorite, with the over 2.5 being a minus 410, the under being a plus 310. Looking at these fighters here, Ji Yeon Kim is 9-3-2 in the overall, 3-3 in the UFC. Is a 55.5% finish rate. 2 knockouts, 3 submissions, and 4 decision wins. All 3 of her losses are by decision, though, and 5 of her 6 UFC fights have finished inside the distance, meaning the over 2.5 is 5-1 in her career in the UFC. On the other side, Molly McCann's 10-4, also with a 3-3 UFC record, a 40% finish rate with 4 knockouts and 6 submissions. 25% of her losses are by finish. She's been submitted once, and she's been gone to decision 3 times. The over 2.5 in her UFC career is also 5-1. And for this one, this is probably the ultimate 1-800-GAMBLER fight here. I was leaning towards Ji Yeon Kim. If I can get plus money on her, I might take a stab on her. I feel like this is a spot where she's going to have a 10-inch reach advantage and a 3-inch height advantage. So I think she's potentially able to use those advantages, establish distance, and be able to piece apart Meatball Molly. I just can't get to this fight at all. This one's one of those where it's a woman's fight that you don't want anything to do with. So I'm going to be passing on this one. No action for McCann and Kim. The next 2 I will have action on, though. We're looking at Luigi Ventimini taking on Patrick Pimbret. Pimbret tomorrow to minus 150 right now. A plus 130 the other way with Ventimini. Total of 2.5 in this one. The over being a plus 103, the under being a minus 133 on my book. And looking at this fight, this is Paddy Pimball's first UFC fight. He is 16-3 overall. He has a 75% finish rate with 4 knockouts, 8 submissions, and 4 decision wins. 33% of his losses are by finish, with him being submitted once and going to decision twice. This is his UFC debut. On the other side, Luigi Ventimini is 9-2 overall, 1-2 in the UFC. He has a 100% finish rate, 5 knockouts, 4 submissions. 50% of his losses are by finish, being knocked out once and going to a decision loss once. And then 2 out of his 3 UFC fights have finished, being 2 ending by knockout, 1 ending by decision. The over 2.5 in his career in the UFC is 1-2. And I'm looking at fight does not go to decision a little bit as well in this fight. But I really like Luigi Ventimini inside the distance in this one. I got him at plus 275 for inside the distance. I think he wins this fight, and he has the 100% finish rate. He's never won a decision in his life, in his career, and I think that continues in this one. I think he gets the win inside the distance, plus 275. Let's see what it currently is right now. It's still plus 275 for Ventimini inside the distance. Is another one where I really like that one. And he's an equal opportunity finisher. Pinball has been finished once by submission. So if you want to take a shot, whoa, I am not going to pass that one up. Luigi Ventimini by submission, 9-1. I'm not passing that one up. So I'm going to add that one. And I'm leaning towards that minus 160 for fight does not go to decision. But plus 900 Luigi Ventimini by submission. You got my attention here. I think that potentially he gets into a nice little grappling match and is able to snatch something up and get a submission. So I'm taking a sprinkle here, quarter unit, to win 2.25 units for Luigi Ventimini by submission at plus 900 this for this fight. I'm typing that in to the ticker. Cool. All right, moving on to the next fight here. We have Khalil Roundtree and Modestas Bukauskas. This matchup here, you can get Bukauskas for on a minus 160. It's around a plus 140 run back on Khalil Roundtree. A total of 1.5 in this fight, heavily juiced towards the over 1.5. Plus 155. The under is a plus 125 on my book. And looking at this fight, Khalil Roundtree is 8-5 in the UFC, or 8-5 overall, 4-5 in the UFC. He entered the UFC at a 3-0 record. It's 62.5% finish rate, 5 knockouts, 3 decision wins. 60% of his losses are by finish. So 2 knockout losses, 1 submission loss, and 2 decision losses. 6 of his 9 UFC fights have finished inside the distance, 5 ending by knockout, 1 ending by submission, and 3 ending by decision. And the over 1.5 is actually 3-6 in his career in the UFC. On the other side, Modestas Bukauskas is 11-4 with a 1-2 record in the UFC and 92% finish rate, 8 knockouts, 2 submissions, and 1 decision. With 60% of his losses are by finish. He's been knocked out twice, been submitted once, and he's been gone to a decision once in a loss. 2 of his 3 UFC fights have finished, 2 ending by knockout, 1 ending by decision, and the over 1.5 is 1-2 in his career. And this one is one of those fights where I look at what happened last week with Abdul Razak Al Hassan, where he was able to get a first-round knockout, and that was basically his one way to victory. And I see the same thing here with Khalil Roundtree, and I think we see a good performance out of Roundtree here. I got him I got Roundtree at plus 137. He's plus 140 now. I love that price on him. Bukauskas is not really someone I particularly trust. He's lost 2 straight fights. I know Roundtree struggled as well, and I think this is a good buy low spot on Khalil. I also got him first round knockout. I got it at plus 365. It's now a plus 325. and I got him inside the distance. That's plus 190. The first round knockout prop is a quarter unit play for me, and the inside the distance is a half unit play for me at plus 190. It's a plus 195 now. So overall, I'm liking Khalil Roundtree a lot tomorrow for this fight. So I'm taking Roundtree money line, inside the distance half unit play, and a quarter unit play on the first round knockout prop. Late night Earle, you're working my hours. Give me Roundtree. Yes. I like it. I like it. All right. We only have 3 fights left for this card. Only 9 fights on this card. Next, we're going to be looking at Alex Morono taking on David Zawala here. And Zawala opened up around a minus 165, or plus 165, plus 170. And this is now down to a pick'em. And this is some interesting line movement here. A total of 2.5 for this one, over being minus 165, under being plus 135. And for me, looking at this fight, I cannot touch Zawala at all. Let's look. We'll go over the fights real quick. Moreno is 19-7 overall, 8-4 in the UFC, 68% finish rate, 6 knockouts, 6 submissions, 6 decision wins, and 1 DQ win. So overall, this is a fighter who gets it done any particular way. Only 28.5% of his losses are by finish. He's been submitted twice, and he's gone to decision 5 times. 4 out of his 12 UFC fights have ended inside the distance, with 3 ending by knockout, 1 ending by submission, and 8 ending by decision in this one. The over 2.5 is 8-4 in Moreno's career. On the other side, David Zawala is 17-6, a 1-3 record in the UFC, 88% finish rate, 11 knockouts, 4 submissions, and 2 decision wins. 50% of his losses are by finish, with 2 ending by knockout. 2 knockout losses, 1 submission loss, and 3 decision losses. 2 of his 4 UFC fights have finished inside the distance, 1 ending by knockout, 1 by submission, 2 by decision. And the over 2.5 is 3-1 in his career. And looking at this fight, I do like the fight does go to decision in this one. If anything, and I like Morono in this spot. There's no way you can touch Zawala now. If you did like him, your line has come and gone. This is a spot where goes to decision is probably a decent play here. I believe it's around a minus 200 though, which is a little bit. It's a minus goes to distance minus 150. Actually, yeah, I don't mind the minus 150 goes to decision. Over 2.5, minus 165. I don't hate that one as well. Morono by points at plus 160. I think that could be worth a play as well. But overall in this fight, I'm not looking for this fight to go to decision, or I'm looking for this fight to go to decision. And this is a spot where it's Morono or pass at this point. There's no way you get to Zawala here at a pick'em price. If you wanted him, you have to get plus money on him. And this is now not a spot where you're going to be getting that. So for me, it's Morono or pass, and I'm just going to lay off this fight. Next, we get Sergey Spivak taking on Tom Aspinall. Aspinall around a minus 230, minus 235 now, plus 200 run back on Sergey Spivak. Over under of 1.5 in this fight, with the over being a minus 125, the under being a minus 105. And this is going to be a fun big boy fight. Tom Aspinall is 10-2 in the UFC. 10-2 overall, 3-0 in the UFC. He has a 100% finish rate, 7 knockouts, 3 submissions. 100% of his losses have finished inside the distance here, with 1 submission and 1 DQ loss. But all 3 of his UFC fights have obviously finished. Seeing that he's never gone to a judge's scorecard. The over 2.5 is 0-3 in his UFC career. And on the other side, Sergey Spivak, 85% finish rate, with 5 knockouts, 6 submissions. He does have 2 decision wins on his record, and he does have 1 fight that he has gone to decision and lost, along with a knockout loss. 3 of his 6 UFC fights have finished, so three of his 6 UFC fights have gone to the judge's scorecard, which I think is a very valuable thing to look at here. And the over 1.5 is actually 5-1 in Sergey Spivak's career in the UFC. And honestly, I can see this fight going over the 1.5. I can see potentially this fight, if it hits the over 1.5, it's going to go over the 2.5, and it's going to go to decision. I feel like the Tom Aspinall is going to be a round 1 or early round 2 or bust type of fighter. And to be completely honest, Sergey Spivak plus 400 by decision could be worth a quarter unit stab here or a half unit stab, or Sergey Spivak overall. I was also looking at potentially Sergey Spivak by submission, which is plus 750. But overall, I did not get to anything in this fight. I'm going to be staying off here. This is going to be a fun fight to watch. Fight doesn't go to decision, minus 280, so that's way too juicy there. I lean towards the over 1.5 here. I think that Sergey Spivak can use a little bit of his wrestling to get this fight a little bit longer into the rounds, but overall, I'm not going to be touching this fight at all. Heading to the main event of the evening, now we have Derek Brunson and Darren Till, the matchup for this one. Around minus 165 for Till, plus 145 run back for Derek Brunson. A total of 3.5 in this game, with it being about a pick 'em here. And looking at this fight, Derek Brunson's 22-7. He's 13-5 in the UFC. He has a 68% finish rate. He has 11 knockouts on his record with 4 submissions and 7 decision wins, with 71% of his losses ending by finish. He's been knocked out 5 times, and he's gone to decision twice. 12 out of his 16 UFC fights have finished, with 11 finishing by knockout, 1 by submission, and 6 by decision. On the other side, Darren Till is 66.6% finish rate, 10 knockouts, 2 submissions, and 6 decision wins, with his 3 losses ending 1 each. 1 knockout loss, 1 submission loss, and 1 decision loss. And 4 out of his 9 UFC fights have finished inside the distance. 3 of them ending by knockout, 1 by submission, and 5 by decision. For me, I'm going to take a shot on the dog here. I'm going with Derek Brunson money line here, plus 145. I think that's a nice little value spot here. He's on a 4-fight winning streak. And I'm also leaning towards Brunson by decision. And you can get a nice plus 350 for Derek Brunson to win inside the distance. I think that's worth a shot here. I like the over 3.5. It'll be a lean towards Brunson by decision, but I think Brunson gets the job done here. I think Darren Till's a little bit overrated, and I think this should be a closer lined fight. So we're going to be going to finish off the night here with Derek Brunson money line plus 145 to win this fight. But that's going to wrap it up for this UFC stream here. But going over my plays for this Saturday to kick it on off, we are going with Julian Rosa inside the distance at plus 315. We're going with Jack Shore. I believe I added Jack Shore in this card by sub. No, I didn't add Jack Shore. No, I did. Jack Shore round 3 at plus 800. That is a quarter unit stab. We're going with Luigi Ventimini here inside the distance at plus 275. We're also taking a quarter unit stab on him at plus 900 by submission. We're going with Khalil Roundtree inside the distance, money line inside the distance, and by first round TKO. And we're going with Derek Brunson inside the distance, or my bad, just money line straight up at plus 145 to close out the card for this one. But that's going to just about wrap it up for the stream. I want to thank you guys as always for watching. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on those post notifications so you guys are notified each and every time we go live here on ESB, which is every single morning, 10 or 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Earle Sports Bet Show. But that's going to just about wrap it up for this one. I want to thank you guys as always for watching, and